when Stefan Grossman and I traveled across the country in the 60s, Stefan used to go into pawn shops. There were so many pawn shops along the road. And he would ask them if they had any old guitars, you know, and a lot of times they'd come out of the back dusting off some old pre-war Martin. And Stefan would, you know, say how much you want for that old guitar. And I remember hearing things like, gotta have 50 bucks, gotta have 50 bucks. And Stefan would say, 40 bucks. And they would say, 45, that's it. And then everywhere we went, Stefan would pick up another Martin. He'd pick up another glorious pre-war Martin. See, in those days, who knew that old was good? So, I mean, he just had like a nose for this. So as we crossed the country, by the time we came back home, he had this beautiful collection of glorious pre-war Martins, and you could add multiple zeros to what they were worth shortly thereafter. I, in the meantime, borrowed a guitar from John Sebastian years later. I had a Galliano that my parents had given me, but I never really sort of got into the business of collecting guitars like Stefan or John Sebastian. So John lent me a guitar, and I used to feel like, drat, I lost the opportunity to get those beautiful Martins. And then Martin calls me up, and they said, you know, we read what you're saying about our strings. And that it was like totally without, I had no idea that they would know that I was using their strings. They said, would you like to endorse our strings? We'd like to give you free strings. You know, what am I going to say? Like, no thanks? I was thrilled. And then they said, oh, by the way, we'd like to give you a guitar too. And I'm like, oh, this is too good. This is just too wonderful. So they gave me the OM28V for vintage that I've been playing with the herringbone that I've got, probably played most of the slide stuff on that guitar. And then one day they called up and said, we'd like to design a signature model for you. And I'm thrilled beyond belief. So we got together, Rob and I and Dick Boak from Martin, and we actually started with little designs on dinner napkins. We were in like a restaurant, and we started drawing these drawings. We thought the neck would be a highway, very bluesy theme, traveling, a highway. So we made the neck a highway, the blacktop road, with a passing and no passing zone in mother of pearl. Then we put a crossroads, railroad crossing, for obvious reasons, Robert Johnson's Crossroad Blues, to celebrate that. Then we have the different highway signs, the yield and the railroad crossing and so on. And then the signature of the artist goes here. They're all signed and numbered by Chris Martin IV and the artist. And then up at the top of the headstock, the artist designed a rendering of a 1930s Hudson Terraplane car to celebrate Terraplane Blues by Robert Johnson. So this is a guitar that I wanted it to be the right size for men and women. I didn't want it to be generic and be like just a woman's guitar. I wanted it to be all-inclusive for any player. And we gave it a sturdy construction because of the way I play. We figured I might as well not have people, you know, blowing the struts off the back end by slamming it the way I do. So it's pretty sturdy, pretty solid, and you know, it's an all-around blues and ballad guitar. I went to the crossroad, fell down on my knees. I went to the crossroad, fell down on my knees. When I asked the little boy for mercy, say, poor girl, let me please. Standing at the crossroad, I tried to flag it right. Well, standing at the crossroad, babe, I tried to flag it right. Well, ain't nobody seemed to know me. Everybody passing me by. Sun gone down, boy. Dark gone catching me here. Well, dark gone catch me here. take it round till my friend falls to the ground. Hey, then I'm standing at the crossroad, baby. I believe I'm sinking down.